Yo, Marcus. So, why are we afraid of being alone? What does it? Why? Where did that inherent fear of being alone, being an individual walking down the street or going to some restaurant alone by yourself or going to the movies, you know, as a single person, where does that kind of fear come from? Why do we got to ask ourselves that? Like, is the fear of being alone stemming from the ego's need to be perceived as someone likable? And by being alone, doing things alone, being in a crowd alone, that kind of exacerbates the image that we have as like, oh, this person is not likable. This person probably is a weirdo because he's alone. This person doesn't have much going on in his or her life, and man, I should stay away from this person. He's probably a bit psycho. But why? We got to ask ourselves that because we are born into this world alone, and sooner or later, as time passes, we will die alone. We're gonna pass from this world to the next reincarnation or whatever alone. It's gonna be alone, alone, alone. So now to compensate for this fear of being alone that stems from the ego, people get into relationships that may not be, healthy for them. So they jump into different relationships and just to give them a sense of accomplishment and a sense of security. But these things don't last very long because the foundation of getting into these kind of relationships with anybody, friends, colleagues, family, your romantic partners, platonic partners, going into these relationships with the foundation of lack and the fear of being alone, fear of loneliness, is never going to work out great, right? For the people who have done this kind of things long enough and has go through the process of shadow integration. Some people call it shadow integration, facing their own fears instead of sweeping it under the rug, and really you know trying to be aware and putting in the work to be aware and to really consciously look at why I get into these relationships over and over and over again. Because when the high wears off from getting energy from these relationships for the wrong reasons, when the high wears off, and eventually it will after a while, right? Then the next day you go do it the same thing over and over and over again, right? After that, you get in a relationship, you go out with certain people, and you try to harvest the energy and the high from the cheap high from being validated by your peers, by your group, or by your girlfriend, by your boyfriend. And when you go back home, you lay in your bed alone, you spend time alone, you shower alone, these thoughts start coming in from left, right, center, up and down, right? You start feeling guilt, you start feeling shame, you start feeling fear, you start feeling like you're not enough. And as the high slowly wears off, these things will start eating up inside of you. Don't you realize that? Like, it always it always ends the same way. If you come out from from relationships that are not built on healthy foundations, that are built on the wrong reasons. And so then it repeats itself. That's what we call as karma. Some people call it as karma. It's a repeat of lessons that have not yet been learned. Karma is not something, oh, I do unto you, someone else is going to do unto me. Well, you're doing it to yourself by thinking about the thoughts of doing it to certain people. Let's say you have ill intentions, or for egotistical, selfish intentions, you do something to someone, or you hope for someone else to do it back to you. You hope to benefit from doing whatever you do, right? If the intention is skewed and is a little bit fucked up, then the karma is you doing it to yourself, because you suffer at the very instance when you proceed to go do that action. Something within you can feel the misalignment between your integrity and what you're doing. And that misalignment of your intentions, right, with who you actually truly are, which is someone who has integrity and knows right from wrong inherently, right? If you do something against that, the karma is instant. You are gonna feel it. That's the karma. You suffer instantly, right? The guilt comes up. Your body starts shaking a bit. It starts vibrating with emotions of low vibrational emotions, low vibrational energy, right? And if you proceed with that, then that energy gets stored somewhere in your body, which needs to be released later on. It's like we're throwing trash around inside our energetic emotional body. And then it piles up more and more and more until and unless we really decide, you know what, I want to look at all these things and I want to clean up my energetic space within my body. And if we don't, over time, it's going to manifest in ways that can get a bit ugly, right? It will manifest itself as physical ailments, physical problems that it will come out from within, because we are holding all these things down, all these emotions and all this trash, and it corrupts the body, it corrupts the energy field, and then we slowly start becoming this energetic slob, this green, toxic, radioactive energy surrounding us. Of course, it's going to affect our physical bodies. Maybe not instantly, right? Manifestations of the energy field of within ourselves takes time to manifest into the physical reality. It takes time to physically manifest into our bodies. And then some people, the most common one, cancer. Cancer is a manifestation of certain. Now, this is not medical advice, but I'm just giving this. I'm just talking about this in a different perspective, in the energetic perspective, right? Cancer is a manifestation of internal disruptions within ourselves that we have not yet decided to look at. And yeah, if you don't want to look at it now, that's fine. Nobody's rushing you to go and look at this, look at that. Nobody's rushing you. And if you have to go through that pain and suffering for as long as you want to, then you have got to do it. If you're going through something and you still do not gather the willpower, the energy to go and deal with these things, then you have to go through that. Maybe you're really learning something from this pain and suffering. Maybe, you know, there's nothing you can do at the moment. That's totally understandable. I'm not trying to bash anyone or dismiss anyone and victim blame, anyone, but I'm just, sharing sharing some part of the truth, which I hope that you can take some part of what I'm saying and then utilize it and use it for yourself to benefit yourself. That is the purpose of these videos. I can understand because I've been through my own share of pain and suffering, mental, emotional, physical, addictions, and all that. I've been through much of all these things in my own right, in my own way. So I cannot fully understand another person's own suffering and pain and all that, but I'm just speaking from my own experience. And fear of loneliness fear of loneliness would make us do things that we don't even, we can't even imagine, right? The fear of loneliness is sometimes so strong to the point where we will willingly go out and look for things that can be dangerous for us to do, just so we can kind of like cover up and suppress this loneliness, this feeling of being alone for a little while, right? It's like a drug. It's like a hit from a drug. You take a hit, oh yeah, everything feels nice for a second. Yeah, the high lasts for like 5 to 10 minutes, an hour or so, and then it crashes. And then, oh yeah, relationships. I gotta get into relationships again so that I don't feel lonely. Yeah, I take the relationship drug, and then and yeah, I feel high for a while, and I, slowly, because it's coming from a bad, from a bad intention, right? From a selfish, egotistical intention, and then when the high wears off, and then oh yeah, yeah, and then you crash, and then you need another hit the next day. Right? For girls, they want to manipulate guys here and there. Not all girls, but you know what I'm talking about. They want to manipulate guys, whether consciously or unconsciously. Manipulate them to fight over, fight for my attention. Yeah, so I feel, you see, so many guys are vying for my attention. I feel so attractive. I feel a sense of false confidence. I feel a sense of false security. Yeah, yeah. I get my validation. I get my false sense of confidence from these people that I have manipulated to want me, and that makes me feel good. That makes me feel like I am attractive, and that makes me helps me deal with my insecurities, deal with my feelings of ugliness, my feelings of my fear of loneliness. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I go to bed alone, trying to fall asleep, and then these guilt, shame, all these come along. But when it does come along, feel it. Feel why we are going through all this shame and guilt and fear and 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 feelings of inadequacy and feelings of insecurity. Go and feel it. Feel those emotions. And then notice what they are trying to tell you. The more you deny and run away from all these emotions, the longer it takes for you to get out of all this karma. And if you don't, that's fine too. It has to play out some way somehow. You hit rock bottom. You crash, and something some way or somehow, the universe will orchestrate some kind of fall, which forces you to really look at it, to really face your demons. There will be a time for that. For every one of us will go through that kind of dark night of the soul. Whether it comes early, whether it comes late in life, doesn't matter. The point is, you feel it, you get close to your demons, look at them face to face, and stop running away, and realize your demons are not really scary beings that are going to haunt you and try to hurt you. They're not there to do that. Your demons are your greatest teachers. If only we can own them, right? And then fear of loneliness, I mentioned about girls. For guys, it's not that much better as well, right? We need to show off, drive them in nice cars, and you see, I've got one on my left, I got one on my right. You see, I'm desirable, I'm not lonely, I'm a successful man. But the foundations that these intentions come from is also egotistical in nature, selfish in nature, right? Insecure in nature, feelings of inadequacy. So I want to compensate these kind of feelings of inadequacy and low feelings and low vibrations. I want to compensate and cover up, like wearing makeup to cover up the imperfections, the perceived imperfections that we have, right? We smear it all over just to cover up, but without actually solving the root cause, the root problems, right? A girl on my left, a girl on my right. Yeah, I'm gonna walk down the street, and yeah, I feel like a man. I feel powerful. And then he gets manipulated by these girls, and money gets taken away from him. And then he falls. Right. But sometimes it has to happen so that we can learn the lessons. If we do not have these things happen to us, then we will never be able to understand ourselves, and then we'll never be able to learn the lessons ourselves. So we got to go try these things, right? Don't just hear stories and then, oh, just because this person says so, just because that person says so, then yeah, I've understood it completely. No, understanding comes from experiential trying. True understanding comes from trying the experience yourself, and then hitting rock bottom and then coming back up again. That's the rhythm of life. You go up and then you fall, then you go back up, you fall. Every time it's like that, but as you go up and fall, you will learn more and more, and the pattern will actually bring you higher and higher. Each increase in your awareness and consciousness of all these fears of loneliness and all these problems will bring you higher, and then you fall. You will fall down to the low point that is higher than what your original low is, right? So the trend is always moving upward, but the rhythm is always the same. It goes up and falls. It goes up and falls, albeit your falls will land on a higher level of consciousness, of development, of that's life. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's life. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.